If you're thinking about moving to Cumming, Georgia, just pause for about 10 to 15 minutes because what I'm gonna show you might change your mind or make you wanna move here more than you already do. These are the top 10 questions that I get from people who are thinking about relocating just like you. So let's get right into it. Number one on the list is this bad boy right here, and it is, where the heck are all the new constructions in Cumming, Georgia? And yeah, there's a lot of them. There's about 30 of them. And it's kind of crazy that a lot of people can't find them. And the reason for that is it's like a concrete jungle out here. There are so many new homes kind of hidden out there. So if you don't know where they're at, you're never really going to find them. Unfortunately, they don't do a great job as far as marketing these new construction homes. They are in Zillow and whatnot. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is plenty of new construction, whether you're looking for those big communities that are 100 to 200 home sites, or if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, maybe 25 to 50 home sites, or even smaller than that, where just one home on a single piece of lot. There's new construction throughout Cumming, Georgia, and plenty of it. And the great thing is they're all different price points. Some of these new constructions can be very big and very nice and very luxury inside. And of course, that price point is going to change, and of course, where it's at. So up north as far as Cumming, Georgia, up north above Buford Highway or Canton Highway or Highway 20, which is all the same, that is going to give you the most new construction at the most affordable price. And the reason for that, well, it's further away from the downtown area of Cumming and even further from Alpharetta and definitely further from Atlanta. So when you take in that consideration, the price points are going to drop the further away you get from the main area. Now, with that being said, it's still pretty close. There's still plenty of shopping everywhere. In fact, you're closer to the North Georgia outlets, which if you like to shop, that's really nice. You're still very close to Lake Lanier, shooting across Georgia 400 to be able to get over there. And that is going to vary in price points. If you get with the Toll Brothers, you're probably going to be in that 8, 9, maybe even $1 million for new construction. And there are other new builds are going to start around that 600, maybe 700,000. That are going to be the big areas. Now, you can also get new construction in North Georgia. I've seen them at $400,000. They're a lot smaller, but they're still brand new. So based on what you're looking for, reach out to us, because this is why we help you guys find these new homes. But we got 9 other questions that we're going to get into, so just hold on real quick. But there's also some other homes, down south below Highway 20 that are going to be more expensive, closer to Johns Creek or closer to Alpharetta, depending on what side of Georgia 400 you're on. So with that being said, those price points can go up to about 1.5 to 2 million. So if you're somebody that commutes 5 days a week and you make that justification that you want to spend more or be closer to that area or closer to the Avalon or what have you, that makes sense. But some people are looking for more of that suburban rural feel, and therefore you're going to save money. Now, hold on just a second, because you can be on Lake Lanier and be north and still have a pretty hefty price tag of north of $2-3 million. So there's a lot of things that really go into the new constructions and the price point, which is going to lead me probably into some other questions. But let's get into the next one. And you know what? I didn't even label them, so we're just going to be going at a random flow here. All right, number 2 on the list of questions that I get from people who are thinking about relocating to Cumming, Georgia is, what should I look for when buying a home? And that's a great question. Sometimes our audience is a first-time home buyer, sometimes they're experienced, sometimes they're investors, and they're all over. A lot of our clients are either relocating from another state, or they have a family, or they're looking for certain things in a home. So this is going to be a very generic thing for all of our audience to really look for when buying a home, specifically here in Cumming, Georgia. So number 1 I want to talk about is trees. There are a lot of trees here. So when you're looking at homes, what do the trees look like around the property? Are they in danger of falling on the property? And number 2 is, what kind of maintenance is that going to cost you throughout the year to maintain? There's a lot of rain that happens here in Georgia, so therefore everything does grow. So keep that in mind for trees. Number 2 on that list of things to look for is the kind of material the home is made out of. Is it brick? Is it stucco? What kind of stucco? And so the second bullet point I have is stucco, because there are a couple different types of stucco, whether it's synthetic stucco, which you want to kind of get a little bit of a closer look at, and then there's hard stucco. In fact, there's a stucco that's in between both of those. So there's different things to look for. That's why it's super important to reach out. If you don't already have a realtor, reach out to our team. We walk you guys through all this stuff, and we make it very easy and seamless, especially if you are relocating. All right, number 3 on that list of what I should look for when buying a home is the age of the roof and the age of the AC unit. It does rain, there does have, hail, depending on the elements around you and where you live. Your roof could be, done in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So it's always something to take a look at, and also take a look at the disclosures when you're buying the home. Now, if you're buying new construction, you don't really have to worry about that as much. This is more or less for resale homes. So make sure you take a look at the disclosures on the age of the roof and the age of the AC unit. And then last but not least, because this can trick a lot of people, we've had people move here, relocate here, and to find out they want to sell it so quickly, and here's why. What the heck is the traffic like around Cumming, Georgia, specifically to that home, right? So there are a lot of different pockets throughout Cumming, Georgia, where the traffic's higher or a little bit less, and depending on the time of the day, if you're near school, not near school, near a freeway, shopping, it doesn't matter. You can have different traffic patterns. So based on your lifestyle, what you do throughout the day, this is something I always recommend is talk to a realtor like our team. Reach out to us. We absolutely love the calls, but we'll tell you, hey, this is going to be a higher traffic area. It may not affect you because maybe you work from home, or maybe you're going to the school anyway, so you want to be closer to the school. So those are all things to talk to us about. All right, we just finished these two. Let's go on to number 3. And like I said, I don't know if these are in order, so just bear with me. All right, how much is the cost to buy a home in Georgia? We briefly touched on this with the new construction. You can buy new construction in the 600-700 up to $1 million in certain parts of Cumming, and then other parts of Cumming it's going to be 1-2 million, maybe even over that. But for a traditional average price point here in Cumming, Georgia, it's $650,000. And the days on market are going to vary, so the time of the market is going to change that price and how many people are actively going after a specific neighborhood or a certain home. So based on what you're looking for, that price point can be higher, but there's also resale homes that you could buy in the $300,000 and $400,000. So those are still out there. If you are a first-time home buyer or on a different type of budget and you're looking for something like that, reach out to us. We can set up a list for you, get it to you every single day, every week, or once a month, whatever you're looking for. We help clients make the move and the transition, even from different parts of Atlanta to Cumming, Georgia. We absolutely love it here. We are raising our family here, and I couldn't say more positive things after living here and being from a couple other areas. It speaks volumes. All right. So that is how much is the cost to buy a home in Georgia. They really range, right? 300 on up and based on the size, but there are various types of homes, single family homes, whether you're looking for an older home or a ranch home on a big piece of lot or a less maintenance type of lot. So just let us know on that. All right, number 4 that we are getting into is, and I know, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one because I wrote this as a number 10. So I think I'm starting to get an order here. Yep, there's number 9. Would you look at that? 8. All right, so we're doing something right here finally. All right, the next one that we are going to go into, which is number 4, is what's the weather like year-round here in Cumming, Georgia? And this is a great question. I'm from the West Coast, and so when I came from the West Coast, I was like, man, it's beautiful days, it's summer, everyone loves the West Coast weather. Well, you know what? After living here in Cumming, Georgia, I disagree with all the people from the West Coast, or based on where you live, in the exception of maybe San Diego, okay? So the weather here in Cumming, Georgia, we're gonna start with the springtime. This is probably the number 1 or number 2 favorite season of the year for most people, but there's a part of the season everyone likes, and so here's what I mean. Spring season is amazing. All the flowers are growing, everything's blossoming, all the colors are coming out. It's absolutely beautiful, especially if you're coming just off of winter where everything goes dormant and a little less colors. So going into spring, everything is very vibrant, and with comes that is the allergies. So if you have allergies, definitely something to consider with that. But the weather here in spring is perfect in my opinion. It starts off a little bit colder. Sometimes in the morning be 50, 60 degrees, and it might warm up to the low 70s, mid 70s. Some days you might have something in the 80s here and there, but not too often. So that season is called fake spring, right when we're coming out of the wintertime going in there, and then it goes a little bit colder. And then about March, April, you're gonna be full in effect with that spring weather until about June. And then come from June and July, it definitely starts warming up. You get plenty of rain. I know that in the West Coast during the summer, there was no rain. The rain was during the winter. Here, all the rain is during the summertime, which is great because when it's hot and summertime is June, July, August time even, September starts to cool down, but during those 3 months of the peak time in the summertime, it can get warm. We've heard Hotlanta, right? We all hear about that. but this weather will get more of that oven feel. But with that rain, it cools it down dramatically. So it'll rain, and the great thing is it only rains for like 20 minutes, and it comes down in buckets, and then it's gone. And before you know it, it's sunny and pretty and humid outside. So be prepared to take a couple showers, especially if you work outside. But yeah, the humidity is a little bit higher, but it's really not that bad. We're probably in that 80s, maybe low 90s, maybe 1 or 2 days of the year. If it even happens, it'll hit 100 degrees, but nothing more than that. Most of the time it's going to be in that high 80s, low 90s time for a couple months, and then it starts drifting down. Now, going into September, October, and November, this is my favorite time of the year. Like I said, a lot of people say springtime is their favorite year or second time, and this is where it flip-flops, is the fall time, because the weather and the beauty of everything, the nature and the climate, everything is on point. So you have a little bit less rain, so everything kind of dries out a little bit. Makes sense on why the leaves start falling. They start changing colors, browns, orange, greens. It's absolutely beautiful no matter what part of Georgia. This isn't Cumming specifically, but Cumming still has a lot of trees around, so you still get this in full effect, especially when you're near the mountain or you are near the lake, because you get all the colors during the fall and everything falls. And then of course winter comes right after that, and the winters aren't that bad. It really depends on where you come from. If you're moving from the Northeast or up north in Chicago or Indiana or anything like that, these winters are going to be much better. You're going to get a lot of sunshine days, beautiful days, but it might be crisp and cold. It might be in the 30s or the 40s for the high. Sometimes in the nights we'll see the teens, so you got to have those special water covers that go on the outside of the pipe. So just little things you got to think of. But throughout the year, this weather is amazing, and once in a while we might even get snow, maybe once every 3 or 4 years. Just last year we had snow here, and our kids were sledding down. We have pretty long driveways in our neighborhood, as most homes in Cumming, Georgia do. And come the wintertime, and if it snows, the kids love it. In fact, the schools close down. So that's something that I always dreamed of as a little boy, and now I get to experience my kids going through that and living that life. All right, so we're going on to that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 5, okay? So this is going to be a 2-part question, and it's, what is the traffic for the commute time? So it depends on where you're going. A lot of people are going down to Alpharetta. A lot of people are going past Alpharetta and going down into the downtown area or midtown Atlanta, and that's going to change that drive time. Also, the other thing you have to take into consideration is how far off the freeway are you? Or maybe you don't even need to take the freeway to get to work because you're on the backside or the west side of Cumming, Georgia, and you could shoot down to the tip part of Alpharetta where it's still in Forsyth County, or even goes into Fulton County, and you're probably maybe 20 minutes. But it really depends on that time of the day, because if you got to be there at 8 o'clock and you're fighting school traffic, well, it's going to take you longer. And the same thing applies to going to Atlanta. You're going a little bit further, but I will say that as you travel down Georgia 400 and the freeways start merging, and then you go inside the perimeter, you're going to have a lot more traffic there. So plan, if it's going to take you 30 minutes to get to Alpharetta at a traffic time, I'm going to say add another 60 minutes to go to Atlanta. Now, one other place that people go to that still has the traffic, so people going down Georgia 400 hit that traffic in the morning, and then same thing in the afternoon coming back up. Obviously people coming home, but the other place people are going to is Buford, Georgia. People are crossing over the Highway 20, also known as Buford Highway. You can also take Buford Dam Road. They go to the same place, essentially on the other side of Sugar Hill and to Buford. So people work over there, but you get traffic going that way. And in the morning, it can be a pain in the butt, but also in the afternoon, going the same direction. Both ways, it just builds up. There's not an easy way going east and west between Highway 85 or Georgia 400, 85 and 400 right there. There's really a pie-shaped area, and there's not an easy way to go back and forth. A couple streets to go through, but no major highways. Not that we want any, because it's all residential, but it just takes a while to do that. Now, so that's Alpharetta, Buford, and Atlanta. And the one other thing I want to talk about is the traffic going to the airport, which is even south of Atlanta. And really, you can come into the airport, land at Jacksonville Airport, which is, by the way, the busiest airport in the entire world, so keep that in mind, or maybe the United States, but very busy. And if you want to drive up to Cumming, Georgia from the airport without traffic, you can do it under an hour, but if you have traffic, expect 2 hours. And that same rule applies going down south. Also, same thing applies to going to any sports game. If you're a baseball fan or a football fan or a basketball fan, all the sports things are down in Atlanta, around the perimeter or inside the perimeter. So keep that in mind. Those games typically are going to start unless you get a Atlanta Braves afternoon baseball game. You can get there without traffic. All right, going into the next thing, and this one's going to be super quick because I've done a video on this, so I want you guys to be able to click on this video right here, and it's the most popular neighborhoods in Cumming, Georgia. We do a lot of research as far as the areas that people are looking to, and those top 5 neighborhoods are where people are looking to move to, and we talk about that a little bit further in that, so make sure you check that out. And by the way, if you are thinking about moving to Cumming, Georgia, whether it's next week or in a month or in 1 year, reach out to our team. We're gonna map out that journey of what it's like and make it seamless and make it easy, because we relocated ourselves twice. We lived in California and Los Angeles, went to Austin, Texas. That didn't work out for us. We landed in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are so happy we did. We absolutely love it. So we are raving fans about it. We'll tell you all the pros and also all the cons, and that's exactly why we started this YouTube channel. It's a little bit different than a lot of these other channels where they haven't relocated. We understand that relocation process. Been in the business for over 11 years, doing this at a high volume, and our number one thing is to help our clients understand the relocation process, walk them through, and you guys can lean on us when it comes time to buy a home. So, all right, we're going into the next one. I think this is number 7 that looks like we're going into. All right, number 7 is, where are the high schools? And this is a great question, but it's sometimes irrelevant, and I'll explain why. And people are like, what do you mean I gotta buy a house in the school district I want my kids to go to? Okay, so all the high schools here in Cumming, Georgia have a career path. So if your child is interested in being a pilot, or a chef, or a mechanic, or IT, or whatever, there are different career paths at different schools. So if your child is into a certain thing, you may want to go to North High School, or West, or Denmark, or what have you. So each school has its own career path. If you have a child that is in maybe 5th or 6th grade, all the way through 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, reach out to us because we can help guide you on that. Especially my wife, Amber, she's very good at that. We looked at this, and Forsyth County is ranked number 3 in the entire state for schools. That's why so many people want to be here in Cumming, Georgia and Forsyth County, is because of these schools. So that is a top question that we do get. These are not in order, although I put them in order. These are not in order. What is the most popular? And that is one question we get a lot from the clients, is about the school. So you have Central, you have South, you have West, you have North, you have East, sometimes not considered Cumming, but we'll call it on there. You have Lambert, you have Denmark, and you have Alliance. Those are all schools, and some of these schools are just 100% tech schools, or some of these schools are designed for a different career path that your child may want to go to. Like I said, reach out to us. We can share that information with you on how to look for it and make it very simple for you. All right, going on to the next question, and this is definitely a question for my wife, because she is the one who, knows this business, and that is, what is the healthcare like in Cumming, Georgia? We have a hospital 2 miles away from our house, and my wife is a nurse. She's been a nurse for over 10 years. She worked at UCLA. She worked at Children's of Atlanta here. She is an experienced nurse. She's also my business partner and a realtor. And so she is a phenomenal person. But if you are interested in knowing more about healthcare for whatever reason, definitely reach out to us, whether it's for a job, or maybe someone in your family's got an illness that you got to take care of or monitor, or hey, maybe you just want the peace of mind being close to a hospital. I think for the most part, being around Atlanta, you're in good shape. But if you need to be extra close for whatever reason, that is a great question. So reach out to us, and we can set up a time where my wife and you can get on the phone, or with you and your family or spouse or whatever, and figure that out. So I put, honestly, call my wife. I put that at the bottom there. So that's really the truth behind that, because I'm the kind of guy that, hey, if I'm sick, I don't want anyone to talk to me. I just want to curl up my little ball. I don't even want to take medicine. I'm just going to deal with it until it gets really bad. And then I go crying to my wife saying, hey, I need help. So, all right, number 9 on this is, and this is a great question. In fact, I love this question a lot. Should I buy or should I rent my first home? And this really just depends on your situation and what your job situation look like, or are you retired and moving here, or you name it. Reach out to us, because each situation is going to be different, and you might like a certain area more than somewhere else. And I don't want you to buy a piece of property and then turn around and be like, I don't want to live here, I want to move somewhere else. So maybe that's when renting for 3 to 6 months, or staying in an Airbnb or something like that, short-lived, we have to time it with the real estate market because that can be the other big part of it that we want to pay attention to. So just reach out to us. It just depends on your time frame, depends on your budget and what you're looking for. I do have lenders on command, ready to go, ready to help you. So if you are someone that is needing to buy a home or thinking about relocating, you want to know what the financial sides are, reach out to us. I'll get you in contact with my lending team. Not a problem. All right, number 10, and this is the reason that my wife and I moved here. Well, it's the reason I wanted to move here. My wife wanted to move to Cumming Georgia because of schools. And my next thing is, what's it like living next to a lake? And I will tell you, being born and raised in Southern California, I never really experienced the lake until I was a little bit older, right? So I started going to Lake Havasu and I was like, man, this is so fun, enjoy the lake life. But I always grew up next to the beach, 45 minutes, would do that. And I really didn't mind driving to the beach now and again, but I really didn't honestly go out of my way to go there. So I'd go there maybe once a year and people thought that was crazy. Now that I lived 5 minutes from the lake, I go every single day because I absolutely love it. And I think I would even drive further. But I live close enough to the lake, and Cumming Georgia is close enough to the lake. We moved here because of the excitement. It is a lot of fun, whether you like to go on hikes or go on walks. I take my dog Phoenix almost every single day. We drop the kids off, get the kids to school around 7:50, 8 a.m., and then 2 minutes later, I'm at the lake doing that, hanging out there, doing 1 or 2 miles, and then I get home and I get ready for my day. So I love living next to the lake. Now, if you own a boat, even better. You can launch your boat at Lake Lanier for $0, and you can take your boat over there, put it in the water, park there, go enjoy it, and that's that. There are parts of the lake where you got to pay to get into entrance, or maybe Margaritaville or Pelican Pete's. Those are all very cool places on the lake that you have to pay to either dock your boat there overnight. I don't know if you can dock your boat there overnight at Margaritaville, but I know you can pull it for free, enjoy that. We do that on 4th of July. It is a ton of fun. It is a busy lake. We get a lot of people that come from Atlanta come up and do that as their holiday weekend because it's a free thing to get to. You can barbecue. Some parts of the lake allow you to have your pets there. My dog jumps in the water, enjoys it. You can go fishing, you can go kayaking. There are so many things to do around the lake. Now, if you live in Cumming, Georgia, doesn't mean you're in that lake life living. They're just specific parts of Cumming, Georgia where you want to live to be closer to that so you don't deal with traffic. But once again, it depends on your lifestyle. Now, there's also other parts of Lake Lanier that are not in Cumming, Georgia that have different price tags. Whether you're in Buford, whether you're in Cumming, Georgia, Dawsonville, Gainesville, Flowery Branch, those are all different parts around the lake. So if you want to be in the lake and that is your number one concern, maybe we look at your price point. Maybe Cumming, Georgia isn't your best fit, maybe one of the other cities. And we work all those areas, so we can help you no matter where you want to move to in North Atlanta or when you want to move. Reach out to us. We are licensed realtors. My wife and I, we run a team and we want to take care of you. All right, so I hope that answers all the questions. Make sure you drop it in the comments. Tell me your thoughts on maybe some things that surprised you or maybe they didn't, or what you're feeling about Cumming, Georgia. And of course, if you're thinking about moving, give us a call, send us a text, send us an email. All the information is on the screen below. Until the next video, you guys take care.